Hello, hello. How are you today? Welcome, everyone. I hope that you are taking care of yourself, whether you are a Self Worth Hub member, a subscriber, or someone stopping by. I am grateful that you are here. This is our time to reflect, reset, and take aligned action toward our healing and growth and self worth journey. And of course, taking compassionate accountability for showing up for ourselves, for setting goals, and truly stop the self neglect cycle that I often witness with my clients and my members. So I am grateful that you are here, and wherever you are joining from, I would love to know where you're joining from. And don't forget that if you are a Self Worth Hub member, remember to say hello so that I can see you. And also remember to track your attendance in within our app in our live streak attendance tracker for a chance to win one of our monthly gift cards to reward your commitment to showing up for yourself each time, right? So tonight we are talking about something big for many of us, very common. And it is something that's keeping so many of us stuck, which is the need for control. If you grew up in a dysfunctional family or were parentified, the need to control everything isn't just a habit, it's a survival mechanism. And the reality is that it very likely is holding you back because holding on too tightly is keeping you from the very freedom that you are craving. And comment I if you can resonate. Let me know. Okay. So that way I know that you are here and you are resonating with this, right? So I want to go deep for a second, right? Where does this need to control come from? Why do so many of us feel this deep, anxious urge to micromanage our lives, our relationships, and even other people? And something common I want to emphasize is that your need for control, it's very likely not out of wanting to be controlling. And as I mentioned in my latest video, I will link it in the description, is that you want to make sure that everything is in order. It's not because you want to be a dictator, it's because you want to make sure that you don't resort back to that state of learned helplessness that characterizes a lot of us who have experienced dysfunctional family dynamics and hence experience complex trauma as a result. Very often, you want to keep things tidy, or it may trigger a lot of anxiety if people do not follow through as they have planned or as you have planned, because you take yourself very seriously, you hold yourself accountable, you have integrity of the word, and you expect others to show up in that manner, right? However, sometimes people don't intend to, right? Don't get me wrong, there are folks who simply do not take accountability and can be very triggering for your nervous system. However, sometimes when folks have a change in plans, that may trigger a lot of anxiety, etc. And this is where our nervous system gets triggered into an emotional flashback when people let us down. And this is why I wanted to emphasize a little bit, that need for control and that urge, right? The reality is that when you grew up in chaos, where things were unpredictable, where maybe you had to be the responsible one and also taking as little space as possible so that you do not rock the boat, so that the attention is not of you, so that you can be the good kid, right? You learned that control was the only way to feel safe. So maybe your parent was emotionally unstable, so you learned to anticipate their moods. You probably took, maybe no one took care of you, right? So you became hyper independent in the process. And maybe things were so unpredictable that you told yourself, if I don't manage everything, if I don't step it up, then no one will, and things will fall apart. And that is why it is important to understand where that need for control comes from. But what happens when we take these survival mechanisms into adulthood, right? They don't free us, they trap us. So I would love to know if this resonates. Comment I if you feel comfortable, of course. And I want to ask you something. What has control actually given you? What have you gained from that need to control everything? I would love to know if you feel comfortable, of course. So think about it. Does controlling actually make it easier for you to navigate relationships? Are you anxious often? Or you tell me. I would love to see. Drop it in the chat, right? Does control make everything feel safe? Or does it just make you feel exhausted, anxious, overwhelmed, trapped? Drop it in the comment. Let me see if any of you feel comfortable. I would love to hear from you. Okay. Of course, only if you feel comfortable. Let me know if that resonates. Comment I, and extra points for you if you feel, compelled to share, if it feels safe for you. Okay. So the reality is that when we hold on so tightly and we want to anticipate people's needs, we want to keep everything in order, right? We have no room for trust, no room for flow, and no room for growth, because control isn't safety, it's just familiar. Control isn't safety, it's just familiar. And growth cannot happen where there's no trust. And of course, I'm encouraging you to find safe relationships where you can be more trusting, or allow yourself, not just anyone, but chosen family, people that feel safe for you to share. Because even with those folks, when they may be asking you how you are, you may just answer, fine, I'm okay. Which is not an emotion, by the way. Okay, it's not. So think about it. How is control serving you? Let me know in the comments. Where do you struggle the most with control, right? Work, relationships, friendships, your emotions. Drop it in the comments. I want to hear from you, because this is a very common experience for my clients and members. So now that we have uncovered some of the reasons why you want to, or you may feel compelled to hold on to control, let's talk about how we can begin to let go. And this is where transformation happens. Of course, it takes one day at a time. And the first step that I would encourage you to do, or to take, is to recognize the illusion of control. The first step is to understand that control is an illusion. You might be able to influence things, people temporarily, but you cannot control everything. And trying to only control things, anticipate people's needs, control chaos, only leads to anxiety, because that means that your amygdala, that almond shaped part of the brain, is always hyperactive, which is very likely how you grew up, in hyperactivity. Okay? So, oh, my battery, do not die. Okay. So, think about it. When you catch yourself, right, gripping tightly, holding on to control, ask yourself, what am I afraid will happen if I let go? Usually, the answer will point you back to a childhood fear or a past experience, fear of abandonment, or being out of control. I would like to offer you a journal prompt or anywhere where you can jot down this reflection question. Where in my life am I holding on too tightly? And what fear is underneath it? Okay, and let me check the comments to see if any of you would feel compelled to share. Anyone? Please let me know if you can relate, if you feel comfortable to share. All right. And if you are a Self Worth Hub member, don't forget to check in so that I can see you. All right. Now, moving on to step 2, which is to lean into trust. I know. I know that this one is hard, it's scary. However, here's a question. What would it feel like to trust that things will work out, even if you don't micromanage them? So, retraining your brain to think about, oh my goodness, what would I feel like if things were to actually work out instead of the opposite, which is very likely what you are used to? This doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean um, learning to trust just anyone, but to actually trust yourself, to trust others, that there is evidence that you can trust, people who feel safe, and to trust life, right? Trust starts small. Trust that every time you allow someone to make a mistake, or that you can delegate, that you can tell them, you know what? I trust that you will do your best, and then be okay with imperfection, because no one is perfect. Nothing is perfect, right? So I would encourage you to allow yourself to grow from that experience and to allow others to grow by doing things imperfectly, by showing up for you, even if it is in a way that may not be in the way that you expect. Allow others to show up for you, because that is the work of being able to accept support, reparenting yourself, to learn to have self compassion, and in turn, extend that compassion to others. So, for instance, a very small way that we could start is to start small, right? Let's start small by allowing someone to make plans if you're going out. Let's start small by leaving a typo in an email or a text message, right? Sometimes just a little test. Do that for a week and then come back to our Compassionate Weekly Accountability live stream and let me know what happens. Did the world fall apart? Did the relationship, you know, crumble? Was there conflict? I bet you there will not be any conflict. Why? Because we are perfectly imperfect. And in that process, you are telling people, I trust you. I trust you to grow. I trust you to show up for me. And I accept you the way you are, because I see that you are trying, right? We're not talking about people that may take advantage of us. We're talking about people that can be genuinely there and may not know how to support you because perhaps you do not let go of control. All right. So, as we are approaching the end of our live stream, I want to offer you step three, which is to allow discomfort without running from it. The reality is that letting go of control isn't to feel, it's not going to feel natural at first. It's going to feel uncomfortable. I have to warn you. I've been through that. And your brain would want you to jump back in and manage everything, to fix, to control. But healing happens when you sit with that discomfort instead of reacting to it. Next time that you feel the urge to control, pause, take a deep breath, and remind yourself that you are safe even in uncertainty because you have what I like to call your IRS, your internal resources system. Internal resources system, not the taxes, guys, your IRS. So remember that you've come this far. You're so resilient. You would always figure it out. And isn't it great if you allow others to figure it out as well? That's the beauty of it. We don't want to deny anyone of their growth journey because we're always stepping in, fixing, comforting. It's not fair to you, it's not fair to the other person, right? So let me check the comments to see if any of you. Hello, Stephanie says, it's wonderful to have you, Stephanie. I hope you're taking care of yourself. Beautiful. Oh, there is. Janelle says, love the IRS. Yes, yes. When you hear the IRS, right? Don't run from them. It's not the taxes, guys. We're talking about our internal resources system as we are learning to reparent ourselves, getting in tune with our loving inner parent, and nurturing our inner child so that we can thrive and allow others to finally show up for us. Teach them how to show up for you. Let go of the unhealthy hyperindependence. Let's see what Stephanie says. I come to the conclusion that pause is a good skill to master. I love that. You are right. You are so right. Because when we pause and we take a step back, it's like we can take a bird's eye view of the situation. We're not reactors, we're actors in the process. We are proactive in our approach. And that is why it's so important to learn to self soothe first and set a boundary. Ask if you are triggered, you ask for a moment. You know what? Right now, I need to process this information. Let me get back to you. Or right now, I'm really upset. I will speak to you later, right? Or, you know what? You want to do that? No problem. That's okay, right? And allow people to show up. Let's see. Janelle says, same. I am learning to just be still. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Trust me, it is hard, right? It's so simple, but it is so hard. And I want to offer you a quick exercise before we close our live stream, which is to think of something in your life that's uncertain right now. Instead of trying to fix it, sit with it for 30 seconds, right? Just breathe. Just be. Just breathe and just be, right? And as you think about it, just allow yourself to simply let it flow and write it down. Maybe after this live stream, I would like you to take intentional action towards this and think about ways that you can let go of control and not fix it. Perhaps enlist the help of someone else or simply let it be and reframe your approach from a growth and compassion perspective. Perhaps it is, if I step in to help a family member with this, I'm denying them the opportunity to develop the skills to show up for themselves. You see? So that is a way of reframing your approach and pausing. Does that make sense? Okay. With that in mind, and let me see any comments. Okay. Let's see. Also, it pausing, yes, allows for thought to surface the mind, and I really want to master this. Thank you so much for sharing. And then Stephanie also says, I am trying to do this exercise, but my daughter has other plans. It's okay. You see, that's why that's a beautiful, that's the beautiful. Let's see, she says, my daughter is wrapping my hand around with a blanket. I'm telling you. Oh, that's one of our lovely members. I just love this because, well, my son is now 11, but when he was a toddler, oh goodness, that's it. They control us, right? But you see, that's the beauty of allowing yourself to just be vulnerable, play with it, be playful, have fun with it, because that's just part of life, right? Here's Janelle laughing. I know, right? That's so cute. That is so cute. Thanks. Thanks for sharing. And that's the reality. That's just experiencing life. Things happen. So, step 4 is to shift from control to alignment. Again, shift from control to alignment. Instead of asking, how can I control this? How can I fix this? Ask yourself, what feels aligned for me? Again, what feels aligned for me? Especially if you are not used to prioritizing your needs, this is a great opportunity to do so. Control is about fear, and alignment is about trust. So when you move from control to alignment, you begin making choices that feel good, and not out of fear, but out of self trust and clarity. I hope that you jot that down or that you can remind yourself of that. That when you make choices out of alignment, it is out of self trust and clarity. So drop an I choose alignment in the comments, right? If this is hitting home, if you're resonating. Okay, let me see. Let me see in the comments. I choose alignment. Let's see. Whenever you are ready or feel comfortable, please share. And let's start closing our section or our session by reminding ourselves that letting go of control isn't easy, but it is worth it. Every time you let go of control, you are stepping closer to freedom, to peace, and to a life that isn't ruled by fear and anxiety. So I want to give a challenge for this week. Pick one area of your life where you will practice letting go of control. Is that a deal? Let's see. Let me see the comments. Oh, beautiful. Okay, Beatrice says, I choose alignment in the process. I love this. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to see you, Beatrice. All right. So, my challenge for you, pick one area where you will practice letting go of control. It could be your schedule, your relationships, or your emotions, whatever feels most important for you. How can you let go of control somehow? Okay. I'm not inviting you to simply be passive and sit back. I'm inviting you to reframe your need for control with choosing alignment and understanding that you're right where you need to be. Okay. So please come back next week and tell me how it went. I want to hear your wins. Okay. I want to hear because I know this works. I know it's hard, but it works. I would not ask you to do anything that I haven't experienced myself or that I haven't witnessed growth with my clients and members. So, if this resonated with you, here's how you can keep this work going, right? If you haven't already, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss next week's compassionate accountability live stream and any other healing and growth tips. If you are not a member, join our wonderful Self Worth Hub if you are ready for deeper support and a community of amazing women who genuinely get it, who are ready to be compassionately, see you, to be compassionately held. And I tell you, I'm truly honored to facilitate this space. Okay. I am elated and I feel blessed to be the facilitator. Comment below what's one thing that you're letting go of this week. If you feel comfortable, let me check. Beautiful. Let's see. Janelle says, I can do that. I will practice this at work. Thank you for sharing. Beatrice says, hard to think about what to let go of control, but we'll reflect on it. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that. And again, thank you all for being here tonight. I am so proud of you. You are showing up for yourself. We are learning, we're growing, and you are stepping into freedom. And I'll see you next week for another compassionate weekly accountability meeting. Until then, remember, you are safe, you are worthy, and you are free. Okay? Please remember your resilience. Bye bye. See you soon. Let's see. All right. Bye, everyone. Sending you much love. Oh, beautiful. Good. Thank you, Karina, for also showing up for us and setting this time aside for. Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's an honor. Okay. Oh, beautiful. You see these lovely members. Uh, Thank you, Karina, for your support. You are appreciated. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Good night. Good night, everyone.